Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is basically part 3 of my pattern review. I am going through my stash. I am ready to clean up and sort out all of my patterns, and I figured it'd be a good idea to hop on camera and just review my patterns with you all. I'm going through them by brand, so I should have at this point really Simplicity and McCall's patterns, and today we're going to review all of my Butterick patterns. The way that I'm going to break down this video, I'm going to begin with the one Butterick pattern that I have already cut into. Then we'll go into my tops, my dresses, and then the jackets that I have. So it's a smaller list. Let's dive right in. The first pattern I wanted to show you is B6664. If you watched my red collection video, you would have seen this. I used it to make my two of the tops that I made in the video, and I think it's such a great pattern. I actually have a ready-to-wear top that is this exactly, and I love that top. So the fact that I have the pattern, and I can think of so many other fabrics that I've recently gotten that would just look lovely in this style, so I'm really excited to give it a try. And it doesn't take up a ton of fabric. However, because it has flounces, you're going to expect that there's going to be quite a bit you have to spare. So for view B, for example, with the long sleeve and the 3 tiers of flounce in the front, that calls for 2 3/8 yards of fabric if you're using 60 inches wide fabric. So of course, if you have 45 inches wide fabric, you'll need a bit more, but I really like this pattern. I also like that it has a high neckline, so that was really something that I'm always looking for in a pattern, is something that will give me the coverage that I need by the neckline. So I like view B for that reason, and if I made view A, it would be sort of to wear under, like a cardigan or a blazer. Then for the tops, I picked up Butterick B6488. I love every single view. When I saw this, I love her. I was like, I could be this lady. But I love every single view. I love the pussy bow blouse in views C and D. I love the sleeve of view A and view C. I really like how it has the gathers by the shoulder, if you could see that. And I like this little, it's giving me like Purple Rain vibes, like Prince with the little zhuzh, the ruffle down the center front. It has a button front closure, which I also have not really done before, and it has a fly front button and snap closure. So the fact that it's like a fly front also really, really nice. So I'm excited to give that a try one day. Then there is Butterick B6134. And I love how like traditionally inspired this piece is. For me, it's really reminiscent of like Oriental or Asian fashion, and I like the high neckline of views B and D. I love that it's like a raglan sleeve cut and then goes into this really beautiful princess seam. I think it's going to give you such a lovely fit. Yeah, I can't say enough about it. Like, I'm excited to give this a try one day. I don't know that I'm in a rush to make it. I think maybe around the fall or winter, maybe I'll look for this pattern, but really loved it when I saw it and wanted to have it in my stash. I have 3 dresses, and I'll tell you this, Butterick dresses, I'm into them. I know some people might kind of view Butterick, like within the brands in the big 4, as the more mature sort of set. And I mean, I think they, especially in the new rebranding, have definitely kind of claimed and kind of taken ownership of that. It's reflected in the models that they have, and I'm all for it. I love to shop Butterick because I feel like within the big 4 patterns, they have patterns that really speak to my dressing sensibility and how, as far as like modest I want to dress, or the level of coverage and things like that, suit me best out of all the big four patterns. So I do tend to gravitate toward Butterick patterns when I can. I don't have as many of their patterns because not all of them are necessarily my taste all the time, but when I do find a really, really nice dress, I can almost like imagine, or I have seen that style of dress in the other big four patterns, but the way they do it is more up my speed. So this is sort of a really great example of that. I love this dress. So I love Whitney's channel. She's over here on YouTube as Whit Makes. I really adore just how she captures her sewing life and the things that she's trying. So that's been really awesome for me to see and really inspiring, and kind of tells me as like a mom to like go for it and you know, make the things. But she talked about this pattern, and when I saw it, it reminded me of a new look pattern that I have. So I have this new look, excuse the, it's been through the ringer and I've only made it once, so I don't know what that's about. But this new look pattern 6574, I made this, it's in my 2020 makes video. I made it in like a black satiny sort of fabric, and I liked the dress, but there were some fiddly bits with it. The sleeve is really slim and doesn't have like an opening, and that wasn't my preference. Also, the way that you do the closure at the neckline was very fiddly. I didn't like the way that it laid, and there was a lot of things. But I love the umpire waist, like the way that it's cut. I love everything else about the silhouette. And so it solved all of the problems that I had in the new look pattern. And right here, Butterick B6705, I would lengthen the skirt of this and it'd be a done deal. So I cannot wait to make this dress. I actually have a yellow fabric, and when I saw this PO, I was like, oh yeah, I could see myself making that for sure. Next up, I got B6704. This is rated easy. Says Butterick. They told me it was easy. We will figure that out together. I think depending on the fabric, it won't look as formal, if you will. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the, you know, the styling, or like the way that they made the cover one, but I could see it in like a printed fabric. And again, I am always a fan of any sort of really interesting detail by the neckline and a higher neckline. So I thought that that was really nice. The back is fully covered as well. And yeah, I could just see myself lengthening this skirt to a maxi length and this being perfect. The skirt, based on the line drawing, seems to be maybe like a half circle skirt. So I don't see that eating up too much fabric. Here, for 60 inches wide of fabric, you would need about 3 yards for my size, or like my size range. So yeah, I feel like 3 yards is a decent amount. I would of course want to lengthen mine, so maybe I would need a bit more fabric depending on the cutting instructions, but like I can get with that. So this is one of the newest Butterick patterns that I added to my stash, and it is B6807. I love it. I like this dress that she's wearing in view B. Like, I love it. I would probably, again, just extend the flounce a teensy bit, but I love this dress that she's wearing. So I like the bishop sleeve. I like that it has the little ruching. Like, that's saucy. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I like the print that they used. I think you can make that really like fresh and fun and gorgeous. It, again, in the style lines, you'll see it has that, I really hope it's called empire waist, because that's what I'm going to call it. But it sits right under the bust, and then it has this panel that skims over the hip and then flares out. I love a fit and flare dress. So that's right up my alley. So those are all of my Butterick dresses. And the final set that I have of patterns from Butterick are jacket patterns. And Butterick makes some amazing jacket patterns. So I have been really, really fortunate to find the ones that I'm going to show you now. The first thing, like one of the things in my sewing journal that I wrote down in my pattern section that I've been looking for was a moto style jacket, like a moto jacket that has the zipper and like the placket that like folds over. I wanted that. The asymmetrical cut, I wanted it. And I think McCall's, I think, has it, or is it McCall's? I'm looking at the picture and the pattern cover has this like really sparkly tweed almost sort of, I can't tell if it's, I think it's McCall's because that seems more like their styling. So I think McCall's has a moto jacket pattern that is phenomenal. And unfortunately, during the McCall sale, when I tried to go and get it, it was out of stock at my Joann's. So I wasn't gonna drive around to like the various Joann's because I don't have too many close to me. I would have to drive a little bit far out. So when Butterick was having their sale recently, I went onto the Something Delightful website and I was just typing, or I think I went into Google and I just typed in Butterick moto jacket or something. And this came up. So this is B6169. And look at that. They have a moto style jacket. It's really clean lines, like it's not too busy, not a lot of fuss. It also, I mean, for me, the dress is just a freebie because I wasn't necessarily looking for the dress, but I don't mind it, right? And it has this like inseam pockets in the front. The dress, you know, so it's kind of interesting. For me, it's like a bonus. I would have bought this $199 pattern just for the jacket, to be honest. So I am really happy about that. The one that they made on the model there, as you can see, like in this black sort of faux suede looking thing, I'm into it. They recommend linen or twill. So maybe that was not faux suede, maybe that was a twill, I'm not sure. But designed for light to medium weight wovens and stable knit fabrics. So I'm really excited about having a moto style jacket. I think it's a classic and I like that this one, yeah, is no fuss. It's just really nice, clean lines, and I think that can be really timeless in the right fabric. Next up, I have this Lizette pattern, and this is B6423. I don't love the cover art or the jacket that they made up for the model. I don't know if it's the color or what it is that's throwing me off. And I think also the shape of the collar. We're going to need to try that again. I don't think anything I just recorded for the Butterick haul saved. So we're going to do it again, okay? that this will be happening, but it's short enough where I can get through this. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's